tassa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa agohamasmi lokassa jettohamasmi lokassa sitohamasmi lokassa ayamantima jati nattidani punabbhavoti. Friends and children in the Dhamma, now we are getting ready to conduct the weekly Saturday Dhamma talk that we usually do on every Saturday, 6 to 7, and then 7 to 7:35, 7:40, our Saturday chanting, the chantings of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Ratana Sutta, Karnimetta Sutta, for the benefit of all those who seek the blessings of the Dhamma, those who seek to learn the Dhamma, and those who seek to receive the blessings of the Buddha's chanting, the sutras of the Buddha. For the benefit of them, we continue this program as long as this period of quarantine is over. As long as that we are not capable of gathering up to participate in our usual Dhamma talks and the chantings, we hope to continue this program as long as it is required. Today is a special day. We are just in the week that we celebrate the Lord Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and passing away, the Vesak Day. Vesak Day is the most important, most significant day for any Buddhist in the world. No matter what kind of difficulty, troubles, obstacles arise, we never ever stop our rituals, our practices, our observances that we usually do on this day. Therefore, tomorrow, from 8 to 3 in the afternoon, through Facebook and YouTube, that we are broadcasting the usual program from the Vihara under the guidance of Venerable Chief Reverend. The Venerable monks in the Vihara will be conducting all those programs as we usually do here, and you can join with your family members by observing the 8 precepts, preparing food and incense and flowers to the Buddha, that you can join our program of observing the precepts and listening to the Dhamma meditation, listening to the chanting, all those Dhamma work, Dhamma activities that we usually do on Vesak Day. You can do it at home by joining with us via Facebook and YouTube. And also, I have to be very grateful to Mr. Damita De Silva, who were very helpful in his support for this process of broadcasting to continue uninterrupted via Facebook and YouTube for the benefit of all. He was assisting continuously for this broadcasting of the Dhamma Talk program a success. He was assisting continuously, and we are very grateful for his assistance. Now, with that, let's start our talk. Now, today, I was thinking to talk about the saddhā, confidence. Prior to our main topic of the virtues of the Buddha, the 9 epithets given in the Tipitaka and to which we are very familiar with, beginning with Araham Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno. Each of these epithets contains number of virtues of the Buddha, and these virtues of the Buddha represents the way the Buddha lived and the Dhamma he taught to us. So, knowing of the Buddha or to be familiar with the Buddha to be happened. So my main topic, or the topics for the future talks, based on the virtues of the Buddha depicted in the 9 epithets in the stanza that we usually chant. There are so much of Dhamma hidden in those epithets. Therefore, I'm going to explain all of them step by step, gradually. But before that, let's talk about the confidence, saddhā. Because learning the virtues of the Buddha is to enhance our saddhā, enhance our confidence, which is in different levels in each and every one of us. In one person's confidence can be lower, in another one's can be higher. But this confidence must be enhanced. Why it is to be enhanced? What is the importance of the cultivation of the confidence in us? Is what we are going to talk today. Now, the Bodhisattva was born in a kingdom, belonged to the warrior clan in India, northern India. He was a warrior prince. Name was Siddhartha. He was born on a Vesak full moon day, the full moon day of the month of May. He was destined to be an emperor, and more accurately, he was destined to be a universal monarch, a king to rule this whole world. It was his destination. But he diverted himself. He selected his destination by himself for life. He left that promised wonderful future. He left his kingdom. He left his palaces. He left the world to become an ascetic. After he became an ascetic, he was in search of the ultimate truth, which can liberate him from the ultimate suffering. Ultimate suffering, which is connected with the world, with the samsara. His search was how to get rid of this eternal suffering. For 6 years, he was in search. Nobody could taught him. Nobody could guide him for the permanent liberation from suffering. Therefore, he had to find it himself. Following the middle path, the path in the middle, he himself found this technique to overcome all the suffering and to get rid of all the bondage. At the age of 35, on his birthday, he was liberated. He was liberated. And after his liberation, for 45 years, just resting 2 hours a day, for 8 to 9 months on the road, in search of individuals who are capable of receiving his Dhamma, who have little dust in their eyes, who are capable of getting enlightened, helping them, assisting them. He spent life until his passing. On a full moon day, again, on the very day of birth, on his birthday, in a remote, small city called Kusinara, lying between 2 sala trees, passed. These 3 significant events of his life happened on the same day, on the full moon day, the month of. This is what we are celebrating. This is what we are commemorating. Hence, this Vesak day is considered as Christ's blessed day. He is blessed by his birth. He is blessed by his enlightenment. And it is blessed by his birth. Lord Buddha is someone who dedicates his whole life for the benefit of the world. He found the enlightenment first, liberated first. After his liberation, his main purpose was to assist the world to be liberated just as he was liberated. There was no any other ulterior motive behind, just to help people to be liberated. He was so compassionate. He was in such a great love towards the world. Selflessly, he was assisting each and every individual who is capable of receiving his Dhamma. Not all. Not all are capable of receiving his Dhamma. Majority in the world were not ready for the Buddha. Majority was running away from them. Only a minority, only a handful of people, little by little, little by little, started accepting the Buddha's teaching, following it, liberated by it. Who is the Buddha? How to get closer to the Buddha? Now, Buddha is no more alive, passed away around 25th century. His physical body is no more in the world. We have never seen the Buddha. Only we have the Buddha image. These images are the hypothetical construction that the people created, thinking the Buddha must have been look like this, may have been look like this. They created those images based on the imaginary Buddha they had in their mind. Who never seen the actual Buddha. So the Buddha image is the only material object that we have. Buddha. Probably the Buddha image may not be the present Buddha images we have. Probably may not be similar to the actual Buddha who was walking on. Probably same at all. But still these Buddha images are capable of creating some serenity, calmness, happiness in our minds when we look at these Buddha images. Now, seeing the Buddha images are not seeing the Buddha. Even while he was living, he insisted the idea that looking at my physical body, you want to see the Buddha. You can find in the advice to the monk called Wakkali, this young man was obsessed by the appearance of the Buddha. He wanted to see the Buddha every day. The best and the easiest method to see the Buddha every day is to become a monk. He became a monk just to see. He had no interest in learning Dhamma, practicing. He became a monk just to see the Buddha. The Buddha understood motivation. The point of looking at this disgusting physical body. What is the point of this body? This is disgusting body. This is dying. This is getting sick. This is getting more. The point of looking at. He rejected and in a way he chased away that. So the Buddha's idea behind the physical body is just the same as the body. Any physical body. He got old, got sick. He was weak by the end of his lifetime. That body part, that physical to die. Physical body was not only the consciousness. The Buddha got enlightened. That physical body had to die. So seeing the physical body of the Buddha is not seeing the Majjhima. Yo Dhamma passati yo Mam. If one sees the Dhamma, yo Mam passati yo Dhamma. One sees me, this is Dhamma. Now here seeing, not just about seeing with the eye. It is experiencing. Experiencing the Dhamma. Bringing the Dhamma to your being, to your consciousness, to your spirituality, cultivating them within you. The more you cultivate the Dhamma, more you are connected with the Dhamma, more you will be seeing the. That seeing of the Buddha happens within you, with that cultivation of. So the Dhamma and the Buddha are just the same entity. You cannot separate the Dhamma from the Buddha. That is the idea. Yo Dhamma passati. One sees Dhamma is me. The Dhamma is all about learn, remember, practice. Nata, Hareta, Kata. Nata, learn. Hareta, remember. Keep them in your mind. Don't let them slip away. Sarata. No need to learn so much of Dhamma to practice. People didn't learn all the Tripitaka, all the suttas of the Buddha. Sometimes they were given just a few sentences, just a verse, just a few lines, an advice with few lines. They were just given few advices, and they accepted those advices in their lives, transformed themselves those advices, and sometimes, or most of the time, their liberation occurred. That so learning the Dhamma and practicing them in your life, our lives, is one way of seeing the Buddha. The other way is seeing the Buddha through his virtues. Now, we do not know, or we cannot know, all the virtues of the Buddha. But there is a mention that Buddha's virtues are infinite. He has infinite virtues. Only a handful of virtues we know. Those virtues are based on the epithets which we can find in the suttas. The epithets we have limited basically to the 9 types of epithets that we chant every day. Bhagava, Araham, Vijja, Charanas, Pannu, Kato, Lokavi, Thero. The Blessed One is accomplished, fully enlightened, incomparable leader of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened, blessed. Knower of worlds. These are the epithets that they used to describe how the Buddha or who the Buddha is. They are known to us. But behind these epithets, so much of virtues, his compassion, his love, his patience, his tolerance, his sacrifice for the world, his commitment to help people, all are hidden behind these epithets. So learning and knowing and getting familiar with the virtues of the Buddha which are behind these epithets, in a way we can be familiar with the Buddha. We can be knowing of the Buddha. So there are 2 methods that we can get closer to the Buddha: by the method of learning the Dhamma and practicing them, and by the method of learning the virtues, the qualities which are lying behind his epithets that the people used to introduce the Buddha, to describe the Buddha. With that, we can develop certain kind of energy within us, certain kind of a faculty or a power within us, which is called the saddhā. Saddhā translated means faith or confidence. And this saddhā can become a faculty and a power at the same time. Faculty, indriya; power, bala, which becomes the driving force to overcome the doubt about the Buddha and his teaching. Stronger the saddhā you have, stronger the confidence you have, they become that faculty, that power of saddhā becomes your guidance, becomes your force behind your practice. Now the Buddha's function in the practice of the Dhamma is as a guide or as a beacon of light. Now, for example, when you start practicing, it means meditation. You close your eyes. Now you are all alone. There may be hundreds of people practicing with you. But once you close your eyes, You are alone. And it is darkness. Then you start practicing. Now in this practice, it seems very easy in the periphery level, in the appearance level. Very easy, just sitting down and close your eyes. But the real turmoil starts once you start your journey to your inwards, into your inner being. It is so distracting. The mind starts playing tricks upon you. And all sorts of distractions happen. And no GPS to guide you there. Nobody to help you there. Then what will be your only assistance in this journey in the utter darkness? Your confidence, saddhā. Saddhā is the only assistance. Saddhā is the beacon light for you to not to stop your practicing. Otherwise, doubts arise. Whether what I am doing is right or wrong. And in this doubt, you cannot continue your practice. But if you have the utmost confidence towards the Buddha, then what happens? You surrender to the Buddha absolutely. Absolute surrender to the Buddha happens with your stronger confidence towards the Buddha. What is this absolute surrendering? You come into the practice in front of the Buddha. You stay without an ego. Without this ego, in that egolessness, without based on your heap of knowledges that you have gathered. Without based on your social status outside to the monastery, outside to the practice. In your complete voidness, as an empty cup, nothing contains. You come and stay in front of the Buddha. Let the Buddha guide me. Become vulnerable completely to the Buddha, and you let the Buddha to guide you. Buddha knows, I know not. This is the attitude you maintain towards the Buddha when you have no ego, when you have no such a great self maintaining in front of the Buddha. This is the absolute surrendering. If you have an ego, Buddha knows, I also know. I also know. Then how can the Buddha guide you? You are a full cup. Nothing more to put in. You are already full. Buddha cannot guide you. So this absolute surrendering happens when you become absolutely empty. If you can maintain such an attitude, positive attitude towards the Buddha, that is the stepping stone. Then the Buddha find that it is easy to guide you. Therefore, the practice or the spiritual cultivation initiate with the confidence towards the Buddha then that confidence leads you to become absolutely surrendering to the Buddha. Now, we usually show our gesture of prostrating in front of the Buddha to show our surrendering. Now, prostration in front of the Buddha, keeping our forehead on the grounds in front of the Buddha, we show our absolute surrendering. Let the Buddha guide me. Let the Buddha teach me for my liberation, for my salvation. Buddha doesn't want our respect. The status of the Buddha doesn't go up or go down just because we respect or do not respect. He has no ego to boost or bust based on our respect or disrespect. He's an egoless person. He doesn't want our respect. It is for our benefit. Because as long as we maintain such an ego, we can never be guided. That's why the confidence towards the Buddha as an arahant, as a perfectly enlightened being, more we develop that confidence, saddhā towards him, more we become humble, egoless towards him. That humble, that egoless nature will help us to become absolutely surrender to the Buddha. In that surrendering, Buddha can guide us to the direction of Nibbana. So the saddhā is so important to cultivate within us towards the Buddha. Natti me saranam anyam, buddho me saranam varam. I have no other refuge other than the Buddha. Buddham jivitam yava nibbanam saranam gacchami. Until my enlightenment in this cycle of samsara, may I be always taking refuge on the Buddha. We have to cultivate that confidence towards the Buddha. Why? It is the first step. Once there was a king called Pukkusati. He was a ruler of a kingdom. One of his friends, Kalyana Mitta, was king of the Magadha, King Bimbisara. King Bimbisara, as a gift for his old friend Pukkusati, he wrote down the 24 virtues of the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, on the golden leaves and sent them to his old friend Pukkusati. When Pukkusati wrote those virtues that we are reading today, Itipiso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddha, the Buddha's virtues, Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Sandittiko, likewise the virtues of the Dhamma, the epithets used for the Dhamma, and the epithets used for the Sangha, Supatipanno, Ujupatipanno, Nyayapatipanno, Samichipatipanno, the epithets used for the Sangha. When the King Pukkusati read those virtues, he was so elevated, so inspired. Immediately he wanted to go looking for the Buddha. But he's a king, he cannot do that. Then he handed over his kingdom to his son, shaved his head, put on the robes, took a alms bowl into his hands. He left his city while the people were crying in the city, asking him to not to go. He left his city, left his kingdom, looking for the Buddha, in search of the Buddha, to become a follower of the Buddha. He must have developed such a great confidence towards the enlightened masters, towards the enlightened Buddhas in the samsaric cycle. So when he just heard the name of the Buddha and those epithets, he was so inspired. There was some. Now, in the Majjhima Nikaya, there is a sutta called, this sutra is about an incident which happened during the times of the Buddha Kassapa. That means the former Buddha to the Gautama the Buddha. Gautama the Buddha was born during the times of the Buddha Kassapa in the name of a young Brahmin student called Jyotipala. He was at that time a Brahmin student. This Jyotipala, the young Brahmin, had a friend, a Kalyanamitra, a very good friend. He is a Gatikara, he's a potter. His job is making pots. This Gatikara always persuading the Jyotipala to go and see the Buddha. But Jyotipala is rejecting. He doesn't want to go and see the Buddha. He was continuously rejecting any visit to the Buddha. No way, I cannot go there. Gatikara had many tricks to bring the Jyotipala to the Buddha. Remember, this Jyotipala is the Buddha to be in the future. He is the Bodhisattva, the Gautama the Bodhisattva, to become the Gautama the Buddha in the future. But still, he was rejecting to see his predecessor, the Kassapa the Buddha. And one day, Gatikara lost his patience and ultimately he pulled Jyotipala from his lock of hair and tried to drag him by the lock of his hair to see the Buddha, the Kassapa. And Jyotipala had no alternative but to go and see the Buddha. And when he met the Buddha, his eyes were opened. When he heard the Dhamma, he was immediately inspired by them. He asked the permission from the Buddha, the Kassapa, to be initiated in his Sangha order. He became a monk. Later he was affirmed by the Buddha, the Kassapa, that this young monk is to become the future Buddha. You see, even with little dust in their eyes, even with the paramis behind, all the paramis behind, the Bodhisattva was reluctant to go and see a Buddha. Yeah. Confidence, saddhā, is so important. When some people, when they just heard the name of the Buddha was enough. But for some people, even after dragging them towards the Buddha, they were not ready to go and see the Buddha. They must have lost a tremendous opportunities to see the Buddha and to get that Santipada, that Amatapada, that the path to the Nibbana. They must have lost it. simply because they did not have the cultivation of saddha. Saddha is the first step, stepping stone for someone to go to the Buddha, listen to the Dhamma, and then to practice, and then to be liberated from that because of that practice. Stepping stone is saddha, the beginning is saddha. That is why it is so important for us to practice in this life, to learn more and more the virtues of the Buddha, his immense qualities, and to be inspired ourselves towards the Buddha. One day, this developed, this cultivated saddha would be our assistance. When we are born in the times of a future Buddha, it will be our assistance. So the saddha is the beginning point of a person on the way of his enlightenment. Now this saddha to be developed gradually with the knowledge and with the experience. The saddha will be developed gradually. Deeper your saddha develops, it means deeper your practice goes. If the saddha is just based on knowledge, then it is just a belief. For example, a blind man, no matter how much he learned about the light, that knowledge about the light will be always beyond his experience. He doesn't know anything about light. He may have heard all those stories about light. He may have read all those books about the light, but he will never see the light. In the same manner, we may learn the Buddhism, we may learn this Dhamma, we may learn the virtues of the Buddha, but without an iota of practice within us, that knowledge will be away from us. That knowledge is not within us. That knowledge is just a borrowed knowledge, borrowed from others. It is not cultivated within. It is not an experiential knowledge. Only this experiential knowledge will develop that saddha, that confidence towards the Buddha. So, with the cultivation of the Dhamma within us, we develop that confidence towards the Buddha. At the same time, we develop the confidence towards ourselves. That our ability of becoming enlightened is developed. That confidence is developed. At the same time, when we develop the confidence towards the Buddha. It is a two-way progress. The problem today is that the Dhamma is limited to the books, limited to the talks, limited to the discussions. The Dhamma is not existing where it should be existing. The Dhamma should be existing in our inner being, in ourselves. Now, even when we talk about prostrating in front of the Buddha, we prostrate in front of the Buddha, touch our forehead, the grounds of the Buddha, for the purpose of growing our ego. You do it consciously. You do it with awareness that you can feel your whole life is going down. You have no ego. You cannot maintain any ego at that point of touching your forehead in front of the Buddha on the ground. No ego to be maintained. But today we worship the Buddha as a ritual custom, or just because our elders were doing it, we are also doing it. Just because it is said in our textbooks, there is the Buddha image, is necessary that you should bow down. Now just think about the spiritual or holy places that we go for our pilgrimages. While the Buddha was living, he approved that when I'm gone, my followers can go to those places of my birth, enlightenment, the first talk, and then the passing away. These four places are holy for the followers of mine when I'm gone, for only one singular reason: for them to cultivate something called pasada samvega in them. The pasada samvega is creating this sense of urgency within ourselves to practice. Now, Buddha didn't say that when you go to those holy places, you can generate merits so that you can go to heaven or you can be born in a better place, something like that. It is not about generating merits. Generating merits is just a byproduct. When you go to those places with the development of wholesome thoughts, naturally you generate merits. But it is not the Buddha's advice. Buddha's advice is that you go to these places so that you can generate this sense of urgency. Hasten yourself to the practice, to develop, to cultivate your inner spirituality. This is the reason. This is the main purpose of visiting those places where the Buddha was born, enlightened, gave the first Dhamma talk, and then where he passed away. Now we have taken it completely just like any other pilgrimages, just like any other religious people. There is nothing different within us when we compare to them. They go to these holy places, they are holy places for the sake of to be reunited with their Maker. But our purpose of going to those holy places, out of devotion, out of confidence, to enhance, to strengthen our confidence to the Buddha for the sake of creating some urgency within us so that we can be quick, so that we will not delay our practice in the Dhamma. That is the purpose. Therefore, what I was trying to explain to you so far is development of saddha within us is so important for us for many reasons. The development of saddha is the beginning of our journey, of our cultivation, of our development on the path towards the Nibbana. That development of saddha is mandatory because it will be supporting us one day to take the first step to reach to the Dhamma, to meet the Buddha, listen to the Dhamma, and then to practice. The first step happened because of our developed confidence towards the Buddha. And this saddha will help us to be submissive, to be completely surrender to the Buddha, to be vulnerable for his teachings, for his guide us. Saddha helps us for all these later development in the Dhamma. So the saddha is the beginning point of our practice. Now, we have to understand the epithets of the Buddha that we chant every day is based on his virtues, based on his cultivated virtues, because of his practice on the path to the Nibbana. In that purification of the mind, these virtues sprang up, developed. And these virtues are the reason that people generated all those epithets to explain who the Buddha is. Now, our plan for the future talks is based on those virtues. And the explanation of these virtues are to develop our confidence, saddha, towards the Buddha. This development of confidence is very much helpful for us to be surrendering to the Buddha's guidelines so that the Buddha can guide us for our enlightenment. With that, we finish this talk, and there is another message that I have to give you, that you can listen and join with our tomorrow program via YouTube based on the temple name, which is NJBV Vihara, and then you can join via Facebook based on the same name, NJBV Vihara Facebook. And also, we have been requested by our devotees, by some people, that they want to sponsor the Dhamma talks that we are broadcasting on Saturdays. You are capable of sponsoring, you are capable of becoming the sponsor for the Dhamma talks in conjunction with any of your events like birthdays or remembering of your departed ones. For that, you better contact Chief Reverend and get the further information for that. So with that, we will conclude this Dhamma talk, and please remember that you all join with us tomorrow, 8 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, via Facebook and YouTube, and it is better you subscribe the YouTube page that we are maintaining, NJB Vihara YouTube page. Okay, thank you very much. Sabbetiyo vivajjantu sabba rogo vinassatu mate bhavattvantarayo sukhe degayuko bhava.
Saddhā buddham namassami suvatti hotu yani dasutani samagatani bummani vayani verantalitte tathagatan deva manusa buddhitam dhammam namassami suvatti hotu yani dasutani samagatani bummani vayani verantalitte tathagatan deva manusa buddhitam dhammam namassami suvatti hotu etena sacca vajjena dukkha upasamentutte etena sacca vajjena bhaya upasamentutte etena sacca vajjena roga upasamentutte karaniya macca kusalena yantam tam sampadam parisalicca sakko ujoca sujoca suvaco dassamuvartimani santossa kota sugaroca apravijoca sallappatte santindriyoca nikakoca appagappo kuletu ananugitto nadasuddham samacare kincena viñño pare upavateyyam sukino vātēmino anto sappe sattā bhavantu sukitattā eke jivāna bhūtatte tathā vādā palāpā anagasetā dīvāvā eva hantava majjhimā rassakānukakulā diddhāvā eva addhittā yeca dūre vahanti avidūre bhūtāvā sambhavetīvā satte sattā bhavantu sukitattā naparo parannikuppeta nātimanyeta kattachinam kanti vyārotanā patika saññānāññamanyata dukkhamitteya mātāyatāniyam buddham āyutā eka buddhamanurakkhē evam trisabba bhūtesu mānasamvāvaye aparimanam mettacca sabba dukkhamin mānasamvāvaye aparimanam buddham adocatiriyanca asambādam averam atapattam tiddham charam nisinno vāsayāno vāyāvatatta vigatamiddho etam satim aditteya dhammanetam vyāham idamāhudetteñca anupaganna sīlavādassanena sampanno bhavetu vidiyyaketam nahitātu vappateyyam punareti etena sacca